with the recent activities concerning the Igbo agitations in the southeast, we've seen two sides of Biafra. You call it two forms of Biafrans.
Yes.
Normally, an average Igbo man is a Biafran at heart.
Yes.
And but because of IPOB and ASN, a lot of people now don't actually approve of.
A lot of people wouldn't want to identify with
IPOB
or
but I can tell you that
reason.
almost 100% Igbos are IPOB by.
Yes, if you are not just Igbo, if you were born within the territory known as Biafra prior to 1970,
Yeah.
you are an indigenous person of Biafra.
Biafra.
All right.
Yeah.
So you cannot say Biafra is not restricted to Igbo. It is those territories, those adjoining territories that are composed of Biafra before 1970, of which what was his name? This Akwa Ibom man was deputized. Effiong. Philip Effiong was actually deputizing Chukwuemeka or the Mebu Juku. Philip Effiong is from Akwa Ibom. And then if you look at the composition of the Biafra as you had it then, it wasn't just about Ndi Igbo. It was about the Southeast, because the anchor, according to historical evidence, the anchor of the Radio Biafra during that period was also a man from, the South, not an Igbo man. Biafra was actually a melting point of different cultures and then ethnicities that are composed of the former Eastern region.
Yeah. So currently we are seeing two sides or forms of these forms of people who identify as Biafrans. And there are people who believe that, like Simon Eba and Nnamdi Kanu, that we need to have our space. We need to have the boundary. We need to restore the pre-1970 Biafra, the region, maybe in terms of landmarks. And then we can then talk about other things like development, about
economic prosperity.
Prosperities. So there are other ones on the other side also who believe that even if we don't have our boundaries restored,
that is territorial independence,
that we can still forge ahead and make Ali Igbo very prosperous.
Yes, I, for one, is an advocate of the latter, which some people call economic Biafra or economic liberation of the Biafrans for prosperity. The other ones believe that the only way towards prosperity is through territorial independence. All right, but I feel, I for one always believe, and I know that the way towards prosperity for the Biafrans is towards economic liberation. If we fight for economic liberation of the people called the Biafrans, then prosperity will come. Then we might not, over time, we might even discover that we do not need a territorial independence that we sought for. For instance, if jobs are existent in the whole territory called Biafra, a lot of people will not even migrate to Lagos.
Yeah, but
Abuja.
The other guys on the other side also believe that, from what they've seen for more than 60 years, from 50 years, let me say more than 50 years now after the fall of the Biafra, it's very hard for you to have a cohesive, like an Igbo agenda without having a separate territory. This is the reason. The way Nigeria is structured is such a way that our own federal system has a lot of power at the center.
It has a lot of flaws.
A lot of flaws. So imagine how the money is shared. Every money is aggregated at the center and then shared. And numerically, we don't have the strength. Since after the war, Igbo, the southeast were just, the Ali Igbo was actually balkanized. We lost half of the territory into like southern regions, some parts in the north central. And then we don't have much of those strengths. How are we going to get this thing done? Like the seaports, the others ones. And like, if you watch the Ali Igbo now, the southeast is the most disjointed in terms of political affiliation. We have close to 4 political parties in Southeast, just 5 states.
Well, there is no other region too. If you go to the north, you see that they are also as divided as the southeast
Yeah,
across party line.
but politically,
Just that they have a cohesive spirit. All right.
spirit, yes.
The northern interest is the interest of all.
Oh, yeah.
Now the problem of the old Biafra, the southeast specifically, is the divide and rule syndrome, or what I call the balkanization of the southeast by the powers that be, the military. If you notice the way they partitioned most territories in the southeast, they made sure that those oil producing states that are Igbo speaking or that are part of Biafra are mapped out of the core Igbo,
And-
of what
yes.
is called core Igbo state today,
And join
and
to
join
other
them to those they call the South today.
South, yeah.
Now, notwithstanding what anybody might believe, the development of the Southeast have not always been engineered by the government. It's not been government driven. The development of the Southeast have always been individualistically driven, private individuals. Now, if you go to Lagos, or so to say, to the southwest, and then out of every 100 companies that you see in the southwest, at least an Igbo man owns, to be more reasonable, 40.
Yeah, but that also tell you that it needs
All right.
like organized framework
Now,
to make it.
a lot of people who go to those southwestern states feel that they need to go to the west to have a nationalistic approach. Now, which is wrong.
And because of Lagos. See, if you're a business guy, you understand why they do it. It's risky taking it down to Southeast. This is the reason. Lagos has close to 21 million persons. In
Yes.
international airport. If you've done any business in Lagos, you understand this thing.
Now,
there are markets. There are a lot of.
Lagos is a market. Okay, let me now ask you.
You have markets.
No
you have
mat-
international markets.
No
See,
matter
anything you are
no,
selling in Lagos.
no matter how you think about it. Now let me ask you: if you produce the majority of the goods that are sold in Lagos, are they produced in Lagos? They are produced in China, right? Now, where the production happens does not even matter. Where the market is, your product can thrive. If you produce a good quality product in the southeast and then you move it to Lagos, it will still thrive. For instance, I give you an example of Tiger Foods. They produce a lot of condiment, Tiger mayonnaise, Tiger chocolate. They are fast selling in Lagos, right? Now, where you produce is not the main thing. The germane thing is that you're selling, right? The moment you're selling, where you produce them does not matter. Now, the issue is when you develop the Southeast to a level as an individual, like Tiger Food, Innocent, Normal Motors, Resort Motors are doing, now what you will find out is that the employability of Igbo young people, there will be companies where our young graduates, we have a lot of universities towards this side. Now, if you provide the labor market for them, all right, there is no need for them to move to Lagos. A time has gone where people come out and argue that for you to be prosperous, you need to move to Lagos.
No, you see, that's why you're talking about government. You see, for us to have that concentrated effort for a long time that will yield those kind of results in the southeast, it has to be like a kind of a regional approach.
Yes.
Because you see, most of these countries like Israel and all those ones that did this thing, these things have to be intentional. You understand? It's not going to be an easy. If somebody has like 100 million naira now, and the guy decides to invest, he has an option to invest in Southeast and invest in Lagos. Especially when you're into trading.
Now, there is no better incentive. The only incentive that makes people move to Lagos is that belief that the market is in Lagos, right?
Yeah, and the market is actually not believe. The market is actually in Lagos.
Yes,
Lagos is the capital of.
It is. It's the economic capital of Nigeria. Now, look at Barcelona, for instance. After the Civil War and the Spaniards' Civil War, Barcelona, was it the economic capital of Spain? No. Now, what did they do? The Catalonians, who are even still agitating for their own independence, realizing that they cannot achieve territorial independence without the economic liberation and emancipation of their own people. What they did was they looked inwardly. They redesigned the economic conditions within the Catalonian region. Now, currently, Catalonia is the most progressive region in Spain, right? Everybody who is going to Spain wants to visit Catalonia and its capital, Barcelona. Now, the same thing can be done in the southeast. Now, what we need to do is that if our governors were well-meaning, all right, they could, through their governors forum, the five southeast governors forum, they can actually create economic hubs in the southeast, and we have some of them. All right, we have some of them. We have, like in Enugu, you have the Lion Business Park. In Aba, you have the Eyimba City, and all those kind of things. And you already have,
there's another one at Anambra.
yes,
the
and
Awka that,
yes,
Legal
and
Commissions.
you also have a geometry, which is a private entity powering the Eyimba City. All right, if all these kind of things are to be done in the southeast through a joint effort of the southeastern governors, the economic viability of the southeast, the economic
No,
viability.
you know why people believe that if we don't have, like, what is going on with geometric now? Let's assume the Southeast were on their own. The pace at which geometric will develop power, geometric will take the whole of Southeast. And within, like, let me say, within like 10 years, we'll have uninterrupted power supply. But the way we are structured currently, it's going to be very, very hard.
Now, if
The
you
money geometric needs now, geometric will need nothing less than like 100 billion to do those kind of things he's doing, because he has spent close to like over
now,
1 billion
now,
doing
now,
that he's doing
now, the federal government, no matter what you do, you can never take away some credit from them. They were able to concession the area of power generation and distribution, right, to the state. That means the state now have the ability to make laws, regulate, generate, supply electricity within their territory.
Yeah.
That power has been moved over to the state. Now, the onion lies on the governors of the southeast coming together for a superordinate goal, a goal of interest to all Igbo people. All
Yeah,
right.
I think-
Now
I think-
create. Look at, for instance, the Uji power plant. It can be resuscitated. That Uji power plant can take care of power generation and distribution to some part of Uji, Oka, Omonia, downward. All right. Now, if it's working to full capacity, that power plant is being run by coal, right?
Yeah.
And then we have an abundance of coal in Enugu, which is being illegally mined.
If you think about it like that, both of the sides, both people believe that without territory will not move forward, and we don't. Considering the way Nigeria operates, it's very, very okay to conclude that without this thing, this country will not move forward. Because you've seen the sabotages. The current president now, I don't have any belief that Tinubu will make Southeast work. No.
No.
Because, see, Tinubu is a believer in Lagos. The way Tinubu acts, you see it very well. I don't see Tinubu as an ethnic guy, but I see Tinubu as a Lagos guy.
Yes,
Tinubu does not
he's
see-
not. He doesn't
not
care
see-
about any other states in the
Apart
southwest.
From the, Tinubu
Yes.
wants Lagos to be like the biggest city.
He wants it to be like Barcelona.
Like number one.
Yes, of course. But
Or maybe like
that is-
California of
that
the whole
is-
of
that
Africa.
is- that is why Ndi Igbo, like, we need to actually come together. Now, if you see, Ogun State, for instance, is benefiting a lot from the overpopulation of Lagos.
Yeah.
The spillovers are moving to Ogun State. All right? And then you see that it's not just Lagos that is benefiting. Ogun State too is benefiting one way or the other.
Okay.
All right? Now, if the Igbo people, with this prosperous mindset that we have, will be able to come together and say, for instance, let us build a light rail from Aba to Enugu. Enugu to Ansoka. That is the end of the southeastern region, right? Now, from Nsukka to Anambra, Onitsha, Oka. From Enugu to Oka. Now, from Enugu to Abakaliki, Abakaliki to Port Harcourt. Or from Abakaliki to Aba or Owerri, Imo. You know, stuffs like these are things that are bound to actually boost economic activities in the southeast. And then we can have a common haulage system. All right. When I'm talking about it, we can actually have the eastern haulage, where you have these big trucks moving things from where they are abundant to some areas where they are needed. And then you will see that a lot of people have been to Onitsha. If you stay in Ochanja main market, for instance, you see a lot of people moving from the north, Benue, Castina, Mubi, and they come to Onitsha to buy a lot of goods,
And I think a lot of things in
especially
Nigeria,
especially wares,
drugs.
drugs.
Some other things, like I think
Yeah.
Onitsha is the capital of a lot of things. A lot
Yes,
of the
of course.
commerce that happens in Nigeria
Now,
is comes from
now,
Onitsha.
now, I see people. I'm talking out of experience. I see people coming from Cameroon to come to Onitsha to buy footwear. They go to Obo Abada to buy Abada, wrapper materials. So if the southeast can actually look inwardly, and then they see as a unit, the governors forum come as a unit, they should stop seeing themselves as separate entities. These are brothers. And then you come together, draw a roadmap towards the economic prosperity of the Southeast through the help of Ohaneze Ndibo. Even though that one, Ohaneze Ndibo is a toothless bulldog. Do you understand? So, but if Ohaneze Ndibo was to be what they were expected to be, now it will serve as a linking bridge between all the governors. In fact, the governors don't even need a bridge. These are people of Jus Sogis and Jus Sanguis. People of the same, you speak the same language, the same ethnic groups. So you don't need all the divides. Now, another factor too is go back to your state syndrome. The Southeast is the Southeast. We must throw employability very open.
I think it's very less. I don't know
Yeah,
whether
it is.
very
Yeah,
less
it
in
is. It
Southeast.
is becoming less now. But I know of a time where, especially during the period where states were created, a lot of people
Enugu
were
and
asked.
Anambra.
Yeah, a lot of people were asked to please go back to your state and then let us employ our own people, whether they know how to do the job or not. And then you see, when you do all these kind of things, I don't. If you look at the southeast and where they will be in the, let's say, in the next 15 years, because for instance, assuming that the exploit of someone like Michael M.I. Okpara and then a lot of other ones were actually driven forward, you see, the southeast wouldn't be struggling for the national cake.
Now, that takes me to a very important point. Now, all the regions were doing very fine
Yes.
during those days.
Yes.
But Nigeria collapsed. Why? The guys at the center. Not actually the power at the center, but most of those guys at the center were actually, you see, tribalism, corruption at the center, and all those ones. MI was doing fantastic. The
What
West was
led
doing
what
fantastic.
led to the collapse of the progress that we made? No, it was no thanks to the queues and the counter queues that happened over time. Now, if you look at the Nigerian political structure in those earlier stage, 1962 Constitution of Nigeria, 1963. Now you see that power was actually decentralized.
Yes.
All right, there was
But Nigeria still collapsed.
because yes, I'm coming. Now, power was a little decentralized, even though there was a lot of corruption going on at the regional and federal level too.
And a lot of infighting
Now,
also.
yes, but if you look at the way the country was as at then, you see that people were not really so much eager to go to the center. People were really eager because in a political structure where there is a decentralization of power, people come back to their regional base and build a strong political force before trying to even go to the center. All right?
Yeah, but
Which
the structure of Nigeria of not actually having on how would I put it, having that advantage over the south was actually a big problem.
now the north.
That
I will tell you why the north. I will tell you why the north will always have that advantage. If you remember, what we have in Nigeria is an artificial boundary. All right. Now, there was one of the greatest empires that existed in ancient Nigerian history, the Kanon Bonu Empire. The Kanon Bonu Empire was made up of largely of Nupe people and other groups. And now, if you look at the composition of what used to form the old Kanem Bonu Empire, you see that it stretches down to Chad, Niger, right? And then a large portion of it here in Nigeria. Now, I tell you that during elections or during population census, these are the same people. They bear the same name. They speak the same language. Fulfulde is widely spoken. Hausa is spoken across those borders. These are brothers. And then what you notice is that during election or during population census, you see that a large number of those Chadians, Nigerians, are counted as part of the North. Now, sometimes if you see some of those Hausa people where they carry shoe shiners, all right, baka guys, if you ask them where they are from, they might tell you that they are from maybe Bono, all right, or some other part of the north. But when you look in depthly, you discover that these people are actually from either Chad or Niger Republic. And then during the election, these people also vote. And then there are a lot of underage voters. But I don't blame the North. The British colonialists actually tilted a lot of things in favor of the North. One, they have they have a large geographical mapping or spread within themselves. Because only Borno alone is like 2 or 3 states in Nigeria combined, in the southeast combined. All right, so what they not have is large geography. But I am highly convinced that population-wise, they are not as much as the population figures actually envisage. Because the population figures, when it comes out, determines the number one, it has a snowball effect on the number of people who you are expected to vote for during the election, right? And then that also determines election result. If those who are eligible to vote comes out to vote in mass, and that is why the North has always controlled the affairs of Nigeria politically, economically. We can alter this if we look inwardly and then develop the Southeast the way it should be.